Hello, everyone. This is Felicia with Positive Tea with Fee. And I also have Shanika with NeikaKnows as well.
Hello,
And
hello.
hey. Um, just a second.
There I am.
There we go. Hey,
There
hello,
I
my
am.
sister.
Hello.
Hey. We are
How you doing, beautiful?
introducing, I am wonderful. We are introducing Full Circle Sanity Productions. And you guys, I do enjoy making her blush on a regular basis. Uh, she's like, oh, here she goes.
All the time. All
So
the time.
this woman right here is amazing. Nika Knows has been a really big thing in my life as far as keeping me grounded during times where things got very overwhelming. And she's a woman who's worn many hats. And I'm super excited about Positive Tea with Fee collaborating with her and just being able to be transparent. I am
Mhm.
very blessed to have you in my life, and I'm very blessed to
Love to hear it.
experience all your expertise, business, personal, all of that. I'm excited, and I know that everyone is going to be excited about this collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do what we can to keep it real, keep it 100, keep it light, but keep it serious when it needs to be serious. You know, that's what it's all about. It's about understanding where we're coming from so we know where we're going. And in order for us to do that and to actually reach out to you guys, um, we're going to let you know the bottom line of everything in our experiences. And we'll share some laughs, we'll share some tears, we'll share some fears. But at the same time, for this to be something that makes sense, we're coming full circle. And that's why it's Full Circle Sanity. And we want everybody to be able to reach out to us, let us know what topics you are interested in. We're going to be talking a lot about things that have affected us personally, positively and negatively. You know, we'll have a bit of a filter to keep it politically correct and to be tactful, but there won't be much of a filter because we're here to keep it real, and we're here to let you guys know that once you take all the mask off that we all have a lot of. Look at that beautiful kitty cat. Look, see, she's already, mine's over here, over back there on the couch, sleep. That us as women, we need each other, we love each other, and my story might just be your story.
I love that. I love it. I love it. First of all, Felicia was right. She has a beautiful skill in making me blush. A wonderful gift in making me blush, and it happens all the time, and I love it here because the feeling is 100% mutual. Um, Full circle sanity is is amazing. Already in the beginning stages of being amazing, but the platform itself for bringing awareness to mental health in every aspect of our everyday lives. Um, Full circle sanity. And I wanted to, before we even get started, go into detail. I know that this is your baby, but big sis, from me to you, giving you your flowers now. I appreciate you real bad for even being obedient and considering me to be the one that you partner with on this journey. Um, Levi said thank you too.
Oh, you're welcome, baby. Yes.
um, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this leads. I feel like Full Circle Sanity Productions is going to be something amazing. It's going to touch a lot of lives. It's going to impact a lot of lives, a lot of people, um, for the better is what I believe in, showing how to the reasons why and how to incorporate mental health as a priority in all aspects of life.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm
And
excited.
you are very welcome. I let the universe lead me. I let God lead me. This is, of course, a platform that, we transcend to reach atheists, agnostic, Christians.
Mm.
Love Christians. No, I'm just playing. I love everybody. I'm just messing with you guys. Made you look, made you look. No. But yes, I just think it's important to be able to um, do what feels right and not think about it. And what I mean by that is structure is so important, but sometimes you have to go with what you know. And I'm a very humble person because I think that when you're humble, you're able to receive a lot better. And I also think that you're a very humble person. And I also feel that you are extremely powerful, but it's a power that you maintain in a way that sometimes you see the result, but you don't see the actual journey. And this brings us to our first topic for our first episode for Full Circle Sanity Productions, which is maintaining good mental health in the workplace. That's a thing, as my partner and little sis would say. It's a thing.
Definitely a
You
thing.
know what I'm saying? Like, and it's something that we don't really want to talk about. We don't want to talk about it because you got to dig deep to talk about it. You got to dig deep to talk about maintaining and dropping the ball on both ends. Um,
Yeah.
for us to be women who decided not to leave, any money on the table, which I will let you get more into your journey. I do have a 9 to 5. I have a ministry that I sit under, and I have a ministry also that God put inside me as well. And so, with that being said, I also am an entrepreneur, business owner, so I wear many hats. And so when it comes to that, I'm on both ends of it because I want the people who work with me, because no one works for me. That's very serious that I say that. It's very important because we'll get into that later. But and then the 9 to 5 for the company that I work for and with as well. So it's a thing that a lot of us don't want to talk about because let's just admit that when you delve in it deep, it's not always the best thing that you find, okay? But it's real. And being able to maintain good mental health in the workplace is not just in affecting your performance, it's affecting your life. And so that is what we're going to be talking about this first episode. And I want to say that um, there is an awkwardness that we, especially as women, I think more than anything, need to be able to get past the stigma of it. Um, because it's okay. It's okay to talk about. I want everyone here to know that I'm 43 years old. I have worked for several different companies outside of the family business, college janitorial service. I worked for it from 6 years old until on some form or fashion until I was 17. So with that being said, work, I've known it all my life. And if you're doing something you love, it's not work. But at the same time, with that being said, there's a layer of responsibility um, that we carry to ourselves, but there's also a responsibility from our employers as well that has to be set in place to be there for us, because our mental health is what drives us to be okay in anything. And that's just while you're at work. We're not supposed to take work home, as a lot of people say, as part of that balance of good mental health, but we do. In any good employee, you do to some degree. That it just comes along with the territory. And so we're going to be delving into how there are certain things that we can do and our employers can do that either work for or against that maintenance of good mental health in the workplace.
Okay.
So you're so funny. I love it. The advantages of good mental health in the workplace. So, a lot of you know, I just celebrated my 7th anniversary at what I call my 9 to 5. I worked there since January the 15th of 2018. And when I started there with no expectations. I started there with an open mind of a lot of things. And so for me, it was not just a different milestone as in the workplace, it was a different milestone for my life in general. I actually ended up being in a car accident a couple of weeks during the training. And because I was, at the time, we were still in the building. Post pandemic, we are remote, but during that time, we were still going to Sherwood. But I do live in Conway, as I have the last nearly 25 years. So I was in a car accident. So I was in a wheelchair for 3 months. And I was able to finish my training. Okay. I was able to get advantages of everything that they said I would get advantages of, because my performance was maintained through the metrics that are required. And so I was able to be a part of the Platinum Club, which they are members of the high performing. um, and so with that being said, I was able to do a lot of things even past there. But during that time, going from one thing to another and still working, they gave me the option to go take care of what I needed to take care of, physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things that had to go along with that, because we are talking about my right leg, okay, my right ankle, okay, which is what I drove with. So someone else had to drive me. Someone else had to step in, and that was for 3 months. So that was even beyond training. Everybody made sure I had the resources that I needed, the assistance that I needed. Because keep in mind, of course, this was not just a physical thing, of course, for anyone. Permanent, not permanent,
Right.
a wheelchair for any period of time. It's just going to make you very dependent on someone else, especially in
Very.
that circumstance. But outside of the commute, the doctor's appointments, and all of that, sitting with yourself and just being in that situation, strangers coming up to you, not knowing whether you were born that way or is this a permanent thing, it's all kinds of stuff. It's a test to humanity, for me and for the people around me. But my company was, from the very beginning, they showed me that my mental health was important. Unfortunately, as you know, with companies, training is training, whether, you lose your firstborn or your leg or whatever the situation may be, it's training. It's not like you've been in production and been able to, gain some PTO or anything. So they did give me that opportunity. Of course, I turned it down because that gave me extra motivation, not just to work for the company, but to push through. They made sure I had someone to talk to. They had an EAP program where I was able to call to talk to a trained counselor whenever I was able to. But even beyond that, okay, because that was the year of 2018. Okay, hard. Eventually, I of course got out of the wheelchair. was able to go from wheelchair, walker, to crutch, and it was a process that were there for me. But years later, in 2023, February, my mom passed away. And of course, they did every single thing they could, even beyond the few days that you get for bereavement. They would check on me. I got cards. My manager traveled to come to the funeral, made sure I was completely okay. And I say that to say that I don't know at the beginning of my journey with them and the things that happened, with my accident and just everything. I don't know if I would have wanted to hang out for 7 years if that didn't happen. 2023, with my mom passing away, it just didn't feel. I felt like I was okay. I wasn't okay. But then I felt like I was okay. But then I wasn't okay. So grief, just, it continued to rear its head, because it's like you're here, but I'd be in the middle of something, and then I'd go back to being a 5-year-old with my mom at Dollar General. And, you're still trying to work. And I constantly had people checking on me. I constantly had people, wanting to know if I was okay. I constantly, when I had to have my grief canceling appointments, my therapy appointments, and just all the things that I was doing to try to maintain, someone was there. And it's not that they weren't running a business. Of course, they were still running a business. That's everybody's livelihood, not just mine, even my supervisors.
Right.
But what made it a big deal to me is I could tell it wasn't just routine. I could tell they cared. And it made me not just, because I was already successful as far as my performance, okay? But it made me want to see it more as a family environment instead of just a clock in, clock out type thing. And the advantage of that is, after a while, you don't feel like you're going to work anymore. You feel like you're hanging out with family. Even though you still have to maintain your job description, when something comes up, like being in a car accident, wheelchair bound, 3 months, or losing a parent, my mother who brought me into this world, nursed me, took care of me, all this kind of stuff. And you still have people who, they're not like, oh, are you over it yet? No, they're wanting to make sure you're okay. You know what I mean? It made such a big difference. So I say that to say this. Sometimes the workplace can be your only means of support. Sometimes, even if it's not, because they weren't my only means of support. I had other support, with my family and community, and, of course, ministry connections and things like that. But when you go to work and you're going to be able to tell people, I can't do it today. I talked to one customer. She sounded like my mom. She reminded me of her because she said this, and this. I can't do it. It makes all the difference in how you feel, not just about the job, but about yourself. And so I think that we need to really take a step back and just understand, as business owners and as employees, that what you do matters. When someone is going through, it matters. And if anybody from my company happens to be listening to this, any of my supervisors or superiors that were with me through either of those times throughout the 7 years, thank you. Thank you. You're part of the reason that I hung out for 7 years, and I'm still hanging out. And you've made a difference in my life, in my family's life, because you cared, not just about the numbers and my performance, You cared about me, and I won't forget you. I won't.
Mm, that's love. Oh, that
Yeah.
is love.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
It,
I
it,
love
it,
everything about this.
it just it makes such a big difference in how I feel about so many things, Um, money
Mm,
is something we have to have, for different things. But when you work for a company like the one I work for, money is sometimes like the last reason you stick around after a while. You know what I mean? You'll
mm,
take you need it. You don't want to leave it on the table, but it's just whew, I've had some times in the past 7 years. I've had some times. So okay. And then we're going to talk about the flip side of that.
right.
When business
Not the
needs
flip
are
side of
prioritized
it.
over mental health. You can take it away, little sis.
Listen, now I feel like I'm coming in as Debbie Downer to
No,
all of
you're keeping it
your
real. You're just
rain
keeping it.
and sunshine and rainbows and unicorns and
No, you're just
miracles
keeping
and
it
my
real.
doom and gloom and gray skies because my experiences were nothing like yours.
Yeah.
The employers that I have worked for, mental health, and the mental health, the overall well-being of their employees was not priority. At least not top priority as it was said to be in mission statements and everyday meetings and all of those things.
Speak on it.
Um, there's actually, and the sad part about this is that I have multiple stories, multiple instances of employers who I was put in situations, and when all I needed was grace, when all I needed was understanding and space to take care of me, to prioritize Nika for a moment. And at multiple employers, I was told that the business need, the needs of the business. Oh, let me take my blurriness off because this is making me
Okay.
blurry every time I move. I'm sorry. I was told
Oh,
that
you
the business need was more important.
mm,
So taking time for me in whatever situation was not conducive to what they had going on because there
mm,
was still work that needed to get done. Um, like I said, I got multiple stories. I'll give briefly just for
mm.
context
Speak on
before I get to the most recent one.
it.
And of course, we won't give. I'm not there at any of these places anymore, thank God, and I have not been
Mhm.
there in years. But I still won't disparage anybody. I still won't speak
Right.
on names
Absolutely.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, one incident, there was one employer I was with for over 4 years. Um, I'm not gonna say that part. The type of employer, but because that's a
Okay.
giveaway. But
Okay.
there was one employer. There was one employer that I was with for a little over 4 years, and maintained very good rapport with everyone in my office, my clients, my employees, all those good things. Um, I was going through a situation at the time where I had to I had to have surgery. I had I'm not ashamed to say it, I had to have a hysterectomy. I had a partial
Hmm.
hysterectomy.
Okay.
So after having, I think I was 30 years old. After having this partial hysterectomy, about 2.5 weeks after, I I closed on my house. I was 32. I was 32. I closed on my
Mhm.
house. Um, the house buying process takes a while.
Right.
It's not
Right.
something you just wake up Tuesday morning and be like, I'm gonna go buy
Right.
a house today, unless you just got money like
Steps.
that.
It's steps.
unless you Unless you just got the money like that, you're not just getting up and buying a house all
Right.
willy-nilly. But I said that to say I had been in my house buying process for well over 2 years. And I had surgery on this date at the mid to end June. And then the beginning of July, I closed on my house. I was on leave on FMLA. My employer, my manager at the time, saw my Facebook post, my celebratory picture of me with my children and the we just bought a house sign.
Yeah.
This was about 2, maybe 3 weeks after my surgery. I have 6 to 8 weeks on my leave before I'm medically released to return back to work. 2 to 3 weeks out, because he saw that post, he decided that I was okay. I was healed. If I was healed enough to buy a house, I was healed enough to come to work. And that's when the emails and the text messages and the voicemails started. I was told that I either needed to report in the office, or that I needed to report virtually. And if I did not, I would be disciplined, including leading up to and not excluding termination. So I had 8 weeks leave, but I was being demanded to come back to work after 3 weeks after having a hysterectomy surgery. I didn't go. And I kept my job for another 2-3 years after that. 2 years after that.
There you go. Yes.
I didn't go back because I know my rights, and you can't do that. Good. Next incident, I was experiencing. This is a different employer. I loved my job. I was amazing at my job. But I was experiencing a lot of burnout. It was a toxic environment. I loved my job and I was amazing at it, but the work environment was so very toxic.
The customers,
and it made the everyday.
Yeah.
Ooh. And it wasn't even customers. It wasn't customers. It was staff. It was management that made it so toxic. And trying to take advantage of these different programs, the EAP programs, which are amazing if your employer actually implements them and, stands on them. Trying to take advantage of the different EAP programs to help myself through my burnout, because my employer, I wasn't getting any help from my management team. I remember there was at least 1 month, a good full month, if not longer, where I was telling my direct manager, I am not okay. I am mentally not okay. And it's not personal. It's in this space, in this environment, in this job. But I love my job and the impact that I make. I love it too much to leave it. I just want my job to care about me. I just want my employer to care about me and the work that I do as much as I care about the work that I'm doing for them. There was one day where I got to work that morning, and I get to my room, to my office, and all of the plans that we had planned, myself, the department that I worked in, and my management, all of the plans that we had been talking about for the last week or so up until this day, none of them came to fruition. Like that morning, we had been putting these plans together. This is going to happen this time. We're going to do this, this, and this. This person is responsible for this. This person is responsible for this. We had a plan. That morning came. Nobody was out. It was just me. I was the only one in the room. And my department, because we had been dealing with this together for the longest, the toxicity of it, we have been dealing with it for the longest. So we're trying to comfort each other and console each other and pivot with each other. because
What the
that's the
employer
goal.
should be doing. Right.
What the employer should be doing. We're
Mhm.
trying to pivot and console each other and keep each other motivated with the mental health and the burnout of all the things. And that support just was not there that day. And that was the breaking point for me mentally. And I remember I went to my manager. She was standing in the hallway. I went to her. I still had my coat on, still had my purse on my shoulder. And face is red and I am crying. And I'm telling her, looking her dead in her face with all the people around. And I'm telling her, I need a day. Like, I am exhausted. This is the epitome of what we have been crying for in staff meetings for months now. This is what this is what we've been crying for. This is what we've been crying about. This is happening again. And I need a day. I need a day. And she told me, okay. She told me to take the day, and I left. It was about 8:30 in the morning when I left.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a Wednesday. I was going to return back to work that Thursday. I just needed the day to process, to get over this burnout, to regroup, recenter myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was terminated by lunch. Before lunchtime, I was terminated. I received a call.
What?
I received a call from corporate office. And of course, corporate office is in a whole nother state. I received a
Mm-hmm.
call from the corporate office that stated that they had received a report that it was a very fabricated report, that I just left, that nothing was said to anybody, that they saw me come in and then they saw me leave. And nobody knew why, nobody knew where I went, nobody knew anything.
Mm.
But I was terminated effective immediately. I was not able to return to the facility to get any of my belongings, my personal things, nothing that I set up my classroom with, nothing. I couldn't get any of my stuff. I couldn't speak to my clients. I'll say clients. I couldn't speak to my clients. No, nothing. All because I asked for a day. I asked for one day after over a month of telling my direct management team that I was exhausted, that I'm tired. Like, something has to change. This is a very toxic environment, and y'all aren't doing anything to help change it. You're adding to it and not changing the dynamics of it.
Wow.
That was that employer. But God still opened another door. That situation led me to a higher paying position. Completely different field, completely different lane from what I'm used to, what I expected I was going to do or anything. But this position checked all the boxes for me. It checked the money. It checked all of the things. This company, this new company now, this company is real big on family. They're real big on community. They're real big on taking care of their people, taking care of their employees.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with this employer for a little over a year. It's high pace. It was a high pace field. So it was a lot of moving, a lot of, like I said, it wasn't what I was used to physically, as far as physical work is concerned. It was not what I was used to, but I was keeping up because I wanted to be there. I felt God led to be in that position where I was.
It was a step in a different direction, but the right
in a
direction.
different direction. Right. And I felt like I walked into this was a new chapter for me. This was a game changer. It felt right. This, like I said, I had prayed for this. I asked, I prayed, I meditated, and I told God I was ready for my career, and this is where it led me. So I'm with this employer, and I'm working, and I'm loving my job. It's hard, it's fast paced, it's so very stressful. It's high stress, but it was manageable. It was doable things,
Good
right?
stress.
It was good stress because there's a such thing. That is a thing. That is a thing.
Yes.
Is it such thing? It's good stress. It was good stress, and then the pay was chef's kiss. So it
Okay.
made all of that. It made all of the bad things kind of worth it. So, and then the employer spoke so highly of, like I said, taking care of their people and community and all of these things. So fast forward to October of 2024. October of 2024, I went to I was flued out, as the kids say. I was flued out.
Right.
I was flued out to attend a new managers conference that they have, you know, at their corporate office, and all of that good stuff. I've never experienced anything like this. Like I've gone to, you know, corporate trainings and stuff like that, but they've been local, you know, up the street type
Yeah.
situations,
Across the road.
downtown or West Little Rock or something. But this was the
Right.
first time where a company has ever booked my flight, paid for my
Okay.
hotel, like all the things. So
Mhm.
for a week, for a week, we're in this new manager training, you know, it's 4 days. And you know, I'm meeting with amazing people. We're touring the corporate offices, and everybody's amazing. Everybody is so freaking amazing. And when I tell you, I was in these trainings, and I was so moved and so touched. Like I felt being at that meeting, being at that conference made me feel so much closer to this company. Like
Oh,
I knew while I was there, like this is it. I'm locked in, ain't no switching up. Like this is who I need to be with because their principles
yeah.
are in line with mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Until I got
Mm,
home.
mm, mm,
Until I got home.
mm.
And from actually before I got home for 3 days. That conference was Monday through Thursday. We all flew out. I think I flew out at like 6 o'clock Monday morning
Mhm.
to corporate office. And we started as soon as we got there. Like we were getting off the plane. We probably had an hour to get ourselves together, and then we jumped right into it. They wasted no time. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was just like that. 7 o'clock in the morning, we're in class at 7 a.m. And we're in that classroom until almost 7 p.m. And then we're still going back to the hotel, and we're networking and talking, you know, spending time with each other, learning from each other after hours. So
Mhm.
by Thursday, everybody is exhausted mentally, physically, like all of the
All
things.
9
We
yards.
are drained. We are
Mhm.
drained. And we still have to our flight. We did not fly back home. I think my flight wasn't until after 8 p.m. So I didn't get
Mhm.
home. I didn't get home until after 10 with the time difference and all of that. It was after almost 11 o'clock at night before I got home.
Wow.
But before we even left, before my plane even boarded, like that morning, that Thursday morning, I called my manager, my immediate manager, and I told her, like, hey, all the other new managers here, you know, they're saying how their management, their team is allowing them the next day, that Friday, allowing them the day off just to rest and recoup
Right.
from from the conference, you know,
That's the
whether they're
thing.
scheduled to be off of work or not.
Yeah.
They were granted, they were given the grace to be off
Mhm.
of work, to just recoup mentally, emotionally, physically, all that good stuff. So I asked my manager just to see, because what's the worst? What's the worst thing you could tell me, right? Can I have
Right.
Friday off? I was scheduled to work Friday and Saturday, and I was off Sunday. I was scheduled to work Friday, Saturday, off Sunday, Monday. Um, and I asked her, could I be off on Friday? Just let me have Friday off. I will work Sunday or I will work Monday. Like I'll make up one of the days. Just let me have Friday off so that I can sleep. It's Thursday morning. We haven't even gotten through our day yet. I am exhausted. She told me no. She told me no, that I would be okay. It was just 2 days. They do this all the time. As far
That
as
you would be
traveling,
okay.
you'll be okay.
Mm,
So
mm.
business needs over mental health.
Yeah.
Business needs over personal needs. I was told no. I asked once. I asked Thursday morning before I even left, could I have Friday off? I am exhausted. I am in pain. Can I have Friday off to rest and I'll come back to work Saturday? Was told no. Friday morning, I ask again because I'm up and I am hurting, physically in pain. I asked again, can I please take the day? I need the day. I am exhausted. I am in physical pain. Full transparency. I have fibromyalgia and IBS.
Ooh,
I was
that's
in pain, ankles swollen. I was constipated. I was
man.
exhausted, all these things. I asked Thursday, was told no. I asked Friday, could I have the day? I was told no. I managed to push through my day because we're going to push through.
Yeah,
We have no choice. I'm a single mother. I have no choice. I got to push because if I
yeah.
don't bring the income in, bills don't get paid. So my
Got to
kids
do
don't.
what it's got to do what it do. Yeah.
So I have to prioritize. My employer is forcing me to prioritize business needs over my personal needs because the repercussion is there's going to be some type of repercussion for you not coming to work.
Right.
Because regardless of how you feel, we still need somebody here. I asked Thursday, was told no. Asked Friday, was told no. I got pushed through my day on Friday. Saturday, I asked again Saturday morning, could I have the day? Because I am mentally and physically exhausted. I am in pain. And I was told no. It's only 2 days. Why can't you work 2 days? I had a vacation coming up at the end of the month. Like my birthday is October 27th. My vacation started October 28th. This was the beginning of October. Matter of fact, this was mid-October. This was October 17th. This was October 17th when I came back. Thursday, October 17th when I came back. And I was told that you have a vacation coming up in a few days anyway. You'll be okay. Why are you so tired? You shouldn't be that tired. You have, you got this off day. You got vacation coming up. Y'all sat in the classroom all day. Well, I don't understand why you're so tired, why you need a day. So I'm having to, beg to sleep.
Yeah.
I just want to take a nap, Lord. That's all I want to do is take a nap.
Begging for sleep and about to go to sleep.
And that's it. That's all I needed.
I'm just saying, because.
And I was told I couldn't. So Saturday, I go to work Saturday morning. I'm late. I get there and I physically could not stand. First of all, I drove. I live 30 minutes from where I worked. So it's a 30-minute drive one way. So exhausted, in pain, I'm driving back and forth. I drive there Saturday and I cannot stand. I cannot move because I'm constipated. I went to the restroom trying to relieve myself and could not move. I was in so much pain. And I'm texting while I'm in the restroom, I'm texting and I'm telling my manager again, begging once again. I've lost count of how many times I have begged and asked for the day. Just one day is all I need. I am in pain. I have not used the bathroom and I don't know how long.
Wow.
I have not had a decent night's sleep in over a week and I've had 12 plus hour days. I am exhausted and all I need is a day.
A day.
So I'm in the restroom and I'm in tears and I'm texting and I'm begging her once again to let me have the day. And while I'm doing that, because I still got to prioritize the business needs.
Right, absolutely.
I have people that are calling out my staff because I have staff under me. My staff is calling out. So while I'm begging for my own mental health day, I'm trying to make sure the business in my unit is still being ran the way it needs to be ran. So I'm trying to cover shifts. I'm trying to, get people in to work And I'm being told that I can't have the day, but I'm having to allow other people to have their day, to take their days.
Wow.
She texts me back and she tells me that I can leave for the day, but because I did not finish my scheduled work day that Saturday, that I had to forfeit my off day that Sunday to make up for leaving early Saturday. I said, okay, because I'm prioritizing the business needs over my personal needs, trying to keep my job position because I'm being forced to. You're telling me, I was told that we've had to staff your store. We had to get somebody to run your store. We had to staff your store all week while you were gone. We can't do it anymore. You need to be here to run your own unit, to run your own store. But to speak as though staffing my store. Where did it go? There we go. Okay. So Sunday, I get up Sunday morning. I have very little memory of what happened on Sunday. I remember waking up over an hour after the time I was supposed to be there because I overslept. My alarm wasn't set. I was scheduled to be off. My alarm wasn't set for that day. So I wake up and I'm immediately apologizing as though I'm in the wrong. I'm immediately apologizing to my manager for being late on my scheduled off day.
Again, prioritizing
business needs, because I need this job. If I don't work this job, my kids don't eat, my bills don't get paid.
Right.
So I can't. So I remember my 14-year-old getting me dressed, helping me get dressed for work, and walking me to my vehicle. And I remember him praying because he told me he did not want me to leave.
Oh,
he prayed with me before I left. And I made that 30-minute drive. I do not remember that drive. I do not remember anything after that drive. From what I was told, I arrived to work at 9 a.m. I arrived on site, on property, somewhat parked my vehicle. It wasn't a straight park. It wasn't how I usually park. And immediately after arriving to work, I lost consciousness.
Oh no.
I was unconscious, visibly unconscious for over 3 hours.
Oh no.
3 hours before the same manager that I had been begging for 3 days to give me the off day. I sat in my car visibly unconscious for over 3 hours before she came outside and called first responders.
Oh my goodness.
Then I was rushed to the emergency room. And when I regained consciousness, I was told all of this from first responders in the ER. When I regained consciousness, I was told that my manager said that I arrived on site. I arrived at my unit at my store at 9 a.m. But I never got out of my car. She said that they were so busy, excuse my language, they were so busy getting their asses kicked that she could not come outside to check on me, but they knew I was there. I had received calls. I'm unconscious, but I received
3
calls.
hours. Right.
Text messages from people inside the building.
Was it the
not
customers
even
or the employees?
Employees. My management team, my staff. I sat in my vehicle, visibly unconscious, for 3 hours. She did send a trainee someone who had only been there maybe a day or two, had worked a day or two. She sent a trainee outside. I think I was told twice. She sent him outside twice. The first time he said that I was asleep, slumped over the steering wheel. Nobody came outside. Nobody came, like that didn't alert anything because they were too busy getting their asses kicked. But you know I'm on campus. You know I'm here.
Right.
Slumped over the steering wheel. Sleep. Wow. Even if you thought I was asleep, to not come out there and say anything, do anything, and then let more time pass.
Right. Even if it was simply to make sure you were actually asleep, you know. Just couldn't imagine.
And then after, as if that wasn't enough, it was, like I said, it was afternoon. It was a little after 12 o'clock p.m. when she actually came outside. I guess when it slowed down, business slowed down enough, and she came outside. And my door was kind of pried open just a little bit, because I think at one point, first responders said that someone on the inside had reported, you know how like when you pull the handle of your door, of your car door, and the door kind of pops open, but it doesn't open unless you put the force on it to open it.
Absolutely. Right.
I guess at one point or another, I had woken up enough to pull the handle. And then I lost consciousness again. So I passed out again. But in that moment, what was reported was that Shanika's awake now. She's getting out the car. The door just opened. I just saw the door open. So she's getting out. But I lost consciousness all over again. So when my manager finally comes outside, the door is, like I said, I had pulled it, but it's still locked. It's still locked a little bit. So when first responders came, they were able, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he got the door open, but he opened the door, and had my seatbelt not been on, I would have fell out the car because I was leaning up against the door. Like I was passed out up against the door. So had my seatbelt not been on, I would have fell. And he not caught me, I would have fell out of my vehicle. But my management team went on to tell, to contact my oldest son. I have an 18-year-old son, and he's my emergency contact. He's my emergency contact. So they were able to reach him. This was on a Sunday, so he was on his way to church. And they were able to reach him, and my manager tells my son that his mother was found unresponsive due to a possible drug overdose.
Oh no.
It gets so much better. Due to a possible drug overdose. So now the narrative is no longer Shanika is mentally and physically exhausted and in pain, and has been begging for an off day, just one day, for 3 days now. It's no longer that. Now it's Shanika has these two ailments, fibromyalgia and IBS. She takes all these prescription pills. I'm healing holistically. I don't have any prescription pills. But I have all these prescription pills, and I mix my medication and overdose at work. That's the narrative that my management team and my staff spun around the unit, around the store, around the district, or amongst each others with my customers and everything. That's the narrative, that I mixed prescriptions or took some type of drugs and overdosed. But in reality, I was forced to prioritize business needs over my own needs.
And this is what happened.
Ultimately.
Nothing to
needless
do
to
with anything but that.
needless to say, I am no longer with that employer. Um, my doctor immediately put me on leave. The diagnosis at the ER though did confirm there was no other underlying issues. There was nothing in my blood work,
Mm-hmm.
nothing that wasn't supposed to be there in my blood work. The diagnosis in the ER was exhaustion. That was the actual medical diagnosis in the ER was exhaustion. And
Mm, mm,
the
mm.
treatment from my employer after that was so opposite of what was displayed what was displayed in the on the corporate level as far
Mm-hmm.
as as far as employees being taken care of and being top priority and all of these resources and tools and all of this grace and all of these things that are allotted to us. And to see that that was only on a corporate level, but then when you get down to the day to the day to day of it, it's not that principle, that mission is not carried all the way through.
Wow.
And I mostly blame my management team, but at the same time I blame myself because, and it's a lesson. My takeaway from it is that even though it would be awesome if we all had employers like my big sis who actually cares and who actually offers these services and stands on it and actually cares about the employee and not just the business needs getting met. If
Mm-hmm.
everybody's employer was like that, then we would all be happy. We would all be great.
Right.
But everybody's not like that. And it's the reality of the situation. My takeaway from it has been that it's not 100% on the employer because even though the business needs have to be met, blah, blah, blah. If the employee is not good, if you're not good,
That's true. That's true.
and
And it's
it's not
very big
and
of
it's not just a personal headspace thing.
right.
It's not just
Right.
there's what is it, job place burnout. There's a lot of personal things, outside personal things that can go into the mental health, taking that into the workplace, like you said, compartmentalizing and separating, but we can only do that for so long.
Right, exactly. And we are still living life and they are too,
Right,
which
like life's still
brings
life.
us to where is your empathetic, even outside of the policies and resources that are set in place as a human being. I feel like that situation lacked so much empathy first
So
and
much,
foremost.
so much.
Even though there were policies set in place, they just were not enforced because obviously, the business needs were prioritized. But even if those were not set in place, the
Mm,
simple empathy of a human being in that situation and the absence of that empathy, my heart goes out to you because it just goes to show that work can be a scary place
very,
sometimes.
very, especially if in situations where, and I know statistically a lot of us face it. Like I said, I'm a single mother, so it's um it's just me. So I have to, like I said, I have to go to work, even regardless to how I feel. And I know a lot of mothers, not just single mothers, but I know a lot of mothers can relate to that feeling. Like I have to do what I have to do for my babies, regardless to how I feel. Mama will be okay in a minute. My kids got to eat, and I'm their source.
Hmm.
I'm their meal ticket. I'm keeping all
Hmm.
this stuff on. And if I don't go to work, that don't happen.
Right.
So the level of push through that we have to get through these things is very high. But at the same time, I don't want for others to experience to experience the hard way, the way that I had to experience the hard way multiple times, which is why I gave the other two examples, because this wasn't my first time. This was not my first time experiencing the downside of prioritizing business needs over mental health or business needs over personal needs. It's not my first time, but I guarantee you it'll be my last time. I'm not learning this lesson. I'm not learning this lesson the hard way again. I will, first of all, me and Jesus and them have already set it up.
Okay, praise God.
Entrepreneurship is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be anybody's employee.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be in that space again, in Jesus' name. I'm not gonna be in that space again. But what I will do is use my past experiences, because God gave me hands-on experience. Thank you, Lord.
Absolutely.
I will use my past hands-on experience and my hard lessons to make it easier for somebody else, and push the fact that even in the height of being Wonder Woman, because that's who I consider myself to be, is Wonder Woman.
Absolutely. Speak on it.
Even in the height of being Wonder Woman, you have to, at some point of the day, you got to take that cape off. Absolutely. And you got to sit down, and you have to take care of you. Like that. Absolutely. That has to happen. Even Jesus went and sat down and took a nap a couple times.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. You got to rest. We got to rest. We have to prioritize self. We got to prioritize self. And our bodies will let us know, mentally, physically, emotionally, our bodies will let us know when it's time to prioritize ourselves.
Exactly. And it's just like any other machine. If it doesn't get what it needs to get, it's not going to function.
It's not going to function. It's not going to function. And nobody should ever, be placed in that situation that I was placed in, having to literally choose business over personal. My situation could have ended so badly.
I know.
That could have went so much far left than what it already did.
I know.
The circumstances were already bad. Me begging for 3 days for 1 day off. Right. Me knowingly left unconsciously. Lord, I can't even get it out, Father.
It's a lot.
Visibly unconscious in my vehicle on my employer's property. It's not like I was on the public street or down the street and I'm having to show proof that this is what it was. I was at work.
Right.
I was at work with the intention of putting the business need over my own. And this is what the business did. I don't ever want to experience that again. And I don't ever want nobody else to be put in that position, to where you feel like you have to choose, because ultimately, and I don't want to be dramatic about it, but we're going to call it what it is. That could have, like I said, would have been it. You left me to die.
Right.
You left me for dead.
Yeah.
The reality of that situation is you left me for dead.
Right.
And the sad part,
with everybody, you know what and
then the sad part, because I told you it gets even gooder. My doctor put me on leave. I was put on leave after that. And within, let's see, that happened on a Sunday. My leave started effective Tuesday, because I was scheduled off on Monday. So my leave started effective that Tuesday. Before the weekend, they had another manager in my store.
Ooh.
Before the weekend, there was another manager in my store, running my store. And that's why I'm going to stop talking.
Girl,
We have to prioritize us at the beginning, middle, and end of every day. Because that business going to keep going.
Right.
I was left for dead.
Yeah. And
I was left for dead, but y'all had a backup.
Like it could have went, and this is like, I'm glad that you brought that home. It could have went completely left. And just as transparent as you said it, you could have died. And I like the fact that you actually came out and said that, because it's really honing in on the the fact that these situations, let's just keep it real, it's extreme on both ends. It's extreme on
Very.
my end, it's extreme on your end, and there's middle ground. But I respect the fact that you're even willing to be here on this platform and talk about your situation and break it down, not just for one, not just for two, but for the three. And this last employer and your situation and how your family members, and the misinformation that they were given, and the begging and the situation with you being in the bathroom, details that led you up to that point. Still, you could have ended up not here with us.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
here's the really, really tricky part about it. And I know this, and you know this. Somebody listening right now is dealing with something similar. It may not be specifically the same thing, but they're dealing with something similar. And because you were able to share your story, they may take another route, because with all of the situation, every single thing that you broke down, a point to remember of what you said. I really like when you said you have to take some responsibility as well. We have to take some responsibility as well for what we allow in the workplace to be more important than our mental health, because ultimately you're not going to be any good for anybody if you don't take care of you. Our computers are not going to be any good. Our cars, our house, not going to, those are machines. Those are inanimate objects. They're not going to be any good if we don't take care of them. Just imagine you, us, as human beings, as women, and men too, if you're listening. If you don't take care of you, you're not going to be able to be any good to anybody else. Or business, it's actually, if you really want to be technical, it's a liability for us to work and not be up to par mentally. So
Yes,
it
ma'am.
is an advantage to us, but it's also an advantage to our companies, because when our companies pour into us and when we're able to understand that they care, it's a catch 2020. If they don't take care of you, you can't take care of them. But if you do take care of them, they can take care of you, and vice versa. So
Right.
it's a win-win situation. And I feel like companies like mine understand that, the bigger picture, because ultimately they are running a business, and ultimately we are using it as some form of our livelihood or our only form in some situations. Everybody wins when mental health is a priority. Everybody wins when good mental health is maintained, because it's everybody working together, one team, one goal. And in order to do that, we have to remember that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And so, in that chain, there's a weak link because of mental health, because of physical health, because of toxicity anywhere, because of burnout, or because of underlying health conditions that they're trying to deal with as they continue to make a living. Whatever is making it weak doesn't mean it's always going to be that same link for us or for them, or whoever it may be, employers, employees, or whatever the situation may be. If that one link is not strong, the rest of the chain is going to break down as well. So ultimately, with everyone helping everyone, and employers taking responsibility and offering these programs, and not just offering these programs, but also making it a thing to encourage and understand that if someone needs the program, that's what they're there for anyway. And for responsibility to make sure we stay on top of our mental health, everybody's going to win in the end. I want to thank you guys for being a part of this first Full Circle Sanity production episode. I want to thank you, little sis,
I love it
NeikaKnows,
here.
for sharing your story. Um, And I want to thank everyone for being here. We will be um, setting the stage for our schedule. What we are doing right now is trying to create an environment of realism. Okay.
Mm.
So we're going to be doing this once a month. Um, Stay tuned for scheduling. Stay tuned for more episodes. Stay tuned for more information. And remember, take care of you. We love you guys. Bye.
Love you, love you, love you. Talk to you in a minute.
Bye.
Bye.